What's going on, guys? Gary with RAS Group, back in another video. Today we're going to be having a kind of a rambly video about IDPA, what I think of it so far, and if you should do it or not, right? Or really any competition in general. So I'm going to answer that first kind of big question that you probably have on your mind about, well, what does he mean? Should I do competition or not? The answer is going to be absolutely, unequivocally yes. I 100% believe that there's a place to have competition within your kind of routine of training and progression. And we're going to talk about that and why kind of no one avenue is the way. If you only shoot competition, or if you only attend training classes, or you only practice on your own time, none of those are really going to be the key answer here. So what I mean by that is, so everybody starts at zero, essentially, right? Under that premise, everybody starts at zero. You have to get some sort of formal instruction at each stage in your progression, right? Whether you are a basic, intermediate, advanced shooter, there's always something left to learn, and there's always a piece of knowledge out there that you're seeking to obtain from somebody that has that piece of knowledge, right? So you go out, you seek that piece of knowledge. You're not going to master that piece of knowledge within that class. It's just not going to happen for anybody. So you come back and you rep it and you work at it, you dry fire, go to the range. And what's a good measure to test if you've truly kind of progressed within that piece of knowledge that you just went and paid money to acquire? I believe it would be competition, right? Pitting yourself against other shooters that have the same goal in mind, to shoot fast and accurately. And how are you measuring up to them? How are you measuring up to shooters elsewhere? How are you measuring up to shooters 2, 3, 4, 5 hours away across the country, right? And after you get an assessment and you see how you did, you look at that and you're like, okay, well, I didn't do XYZ well. My new piece of knowledge I want to obtain is XYZ. And process restarts itself, right? It's a never-ending journey. That's why training in firearms is so much fun. So getting that out of the way, that's how I see it. That's how I understand it. That's my outlook on training, individual practice, and competition, kind of all rolled into one, and how they work with each other. I would say that IDPA is a good segue for that. IDPA specifically, I think, has some downsides. One of which being kind of the rules, right? And that kind of ties into my other bitch about it, which is IDPA praises itself on a realistic approach, right? Training how you carry, which is a very good concept. However, depending on what you actually carry and how you actually carry it, IDPA doesn't actually want you to do that. So, for example, I run a outside the waistband holster, very similar to this right here, for work. And there's a clause and a cutout in IDPA that if you are an armed professional, you can run from the rig that you typically use, or something identical or very similar to it. Unfortunately, that's only for, I believe, tier 1 and 2 matches, and tier 3 being like the most formal, the most serious. You're not allowed to do that. So they really prefer that and there's no drop leg adapters allowed. So if you're going to run outside the waistband, you have to use something like this. And if you're going to use something like that, then you really have to train from that, because they want you to run like some sort of cover garment over it, which to me isn't really how people carry anymore. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here. They do not allow AIWB, right? And I think that's being a very big proponent of appendix carry. And that's how I actually carry. It's how a lot of people actually carry. And them disallowing that, I can see why they would from a safety perspective. But at the same time, that is what people are doing, right? I even believe USPSA matches are allowing people to run from appendix now. So that's one big downside. The other big downside is going to come to the guns allowed, right? And there's different divisions, which is cool. I appreciate that, between like wheel guns, different types of striker fired and semi-automatic pistols. However, this is not a gun that I would be allowed to run in IDPA, right? This wouldn't do. This, as soon as I take the light off, would be, right? this is my duty gun. This is what I use for work. This is the gun that I train with. Sometimes I carry it. Most of the time I still carry my duty gun. But this gun here is set up for me for what I like, and I run it quite a bit. That being said, not allowed. You can't have external compensators. You can only have ports. You can't have magwells unless you're in a certain division. You can't have stippling. They are okay with like the grip tape, Talon grip, stuff like that. So, that's my other big bitch with IDPA. But the upside is like I said, testing yourself against other people. It's forcing you to run someone else's problem, right? My buddy Matt, who got me into IDPA, that's what he says all the time, is we get in this bad habit of running the same drills over and over and over again, and then we get good at it, and then we stick with those drills because we're good at it. It makes us feel good. Where in IDPA, you don't get that. You need to go solve somebody else's problem, and you get one chance to do it, right? It's kind of your raw performance, if you will, which is kind of cool, right? Like, really good test of your fundamentals. Because if you know before you even get to the range that you're going to be doing a slide lock reload after 3 rounds, is that a true slide lock reload in the heat of the moment, or are you just conditioning yourself to slide lock reload after 3 rounds, right? So competition, IDPA especially, like it's a great avenue for that. Now, the other side of this question was, is it for you? It depends, right? If you're somebody who's brand new to shooting and you're still trying to even grasp what the fundamentals are, I would say go to a training course first, right? Like, get a solid basis underneath you of understanding how to manipulate your firearm, how to put shots where you want to, and get to a level where you think you're ready to start implementing a speed factor. And once that happens, go to a competition. If you did better than you expected, maybe get some more dry fire work in, go to the next competition, and then further diagnose what your deficiencies are. If you go to a competition and you feel like you just got absolutely smoked, go home, dry fire, train on your own time, maybe do another training class because maybe you didn't fully grasp something the first time around. And it's going to be very dependent on where you are at in your journey, if IDPA or really competition in general is, if it's for you at this point in time. At some point in time, I think it's for everybody. Without a doubt in my mind. It's just really dependent upon where in your journey are you and how much is that going to benefit you right now. So, I have friends that say all the time, like, hey, like, you should be doing competitions from the very, very beginning. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's a time and place. I think it's beneficial for people to have a foundational understanding before you put yourself out there in front of people, run it on a shot timer, and get ranked amongst a bunch of your peers and see how you did. So that's my 2 cents on that. That's my thought on it. That's really it, guys. Like, I just wanted to put this out there because I'm stoked on IDPA right now. I'm having fun doing it. I'm not going to say it's the best form of contest out there. I'm not going to say it's the worst. For me right now, I'm having fun. And at some point, maybe I'll try USPSA, some other stuff. We'll see. But yeah, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Hopefully you didn't think this was way too rambly. But again, appreciate you. Check out the website. Check out the Instagram. You guys stay safe, stay trained, stay rad. I'll be back with the next one.